So today is the day of April 30th, and I had some information I wanted to talk about. Basically, recently Nintendo has announced that they were going to be supporting 3DS and 3DS games pretty much beyond 2019, and I'm okay with that. But basically, this video is going to be a bit about something else. The possibility of what if Nintendo was to release a successor to the new 3DS and new 2DS line, and basically my thoughts on what it would be like how something like that would work. So basically, so far there's two sides of the spectrum. There are two different types of people. There are those that think, oh, the Switch is a home console with handheld and tablet features. Nintendo would never make another dedicated handheld. And then there are those that think, oh, the Switch is a home console, handheld and tablet, but I mean, it can be that way, but Nintendo will make another dedicated handheld to be alongside with the Switch, and I'm mostly pretty much on that side. I believe the Switch can succeed as a home console with handheld and tablet features for single screen gaming, while we have a dedicated handheld for dual screen gaming. Also, the fact that Nintendo kind of confirmed that we were going to get like a successor to the 3DS like later after Switch, like far later. I'm thinking maybe 2020, 2024. So, before going over what I think the 3DS successor will be like, let's go over a bit of history of what the previous handhelds were like. So we're gonna go Game Boy all the way through the Game Boy Advance. Basically, the original Game Boy all the way to the Game Boy Advance, and I guess we can include the micro in there also. Over time, we got better graphics, better sound, slightly better screen resolutions, light screens, and rechargeable batteries. That's basically the entire span from the original Game Boy all the way up to the micro. Next, we got the DS, which basically we got far better graphics. The graphics was around like I guess the original 64, and with graphics you get like better sound too. We got dual screen technology, touch controls, mic input, wireless local multiplayer, online voice chat, sleep mode, Picto chat, which was like local messaging. Pretty much the first handheld with like a basic home menu OS system. Next we got the DSi, which got better graphics again. I won't say a vast improvement, but basically the DSi's power was twice that of the original DS. With the DSi, we also got camera input, SD card support, the DSi shop, including apps, basic account. Basically, the DSi shop in the Wii shop, it wasn't like it currently is on the eShop, but basically, if you signed up, your games were tied to like a basic account. I know a lot of people think that that started with the 3DS, but it actually started with the Wii and DSi. It was, well, I wouldn't say it was the first handheld with a internet browser, but I know that the original DS had an internet browser too, but it wasn't like built in. It was like with a cartridge. But the DSi had the first built-in internet browser for the DS line. It also had the first media player for playing like music and pictures. And the home menu was a far vast improvement over the original DS's home menu. Now going over to the 3DS, which had far better graphics over the DS and DSi. The 3DS's graphics was around maybe the GameCube. And I think this is also the first like Nintendo handheld with GPU support. It also brought 3D cameras, 3D pictures and video capture, and also the ability to view 3D pictures and videos that you captured. eShops with better account support, Nintendo Network ID support, and single friend code. Back before the 3DS, you had to have a friend code for every DS and DSi game you had, but with the 3DS, it was just one friend code, which was a lot more simpler than before. But also with the eShop coming to the 3DS, we also got DLC game updates. We got Miiverse, themes and folders, badges, friend list, street path and spot pass, and notifications. A far better internet browser. Return of a infrared port, which is something the original Game Boy Color had and it seemed to have disappeared all the way until the 3DS. Not really much used except for the communicating with like external controllers like the Amiibo Reader and the CirclePad Pro. The 3DS also bought the C-Pad, which was I guess their first handheld with a, I wouldn't say traditional analog stick, but it's the closest and probably the best solution for like a clamshell design. But the best thing that the 3DS brought was the, I guess, major improvement over the home menu versus the DSi and DS. Next, we got the new 3DS and new 2DS XL, and I guess also the non-XL version. Basically brought better graphics. I guess comparable to the DS to DSi jump, but it seems that the new 3DS and new 2DS graphics are more closer to the original Wii's graphics, since we got a port of Xenoblade from the Wii to the new 3DS. The new 3DS also brought better 3D with like face tracking, a better internet browser. You can actually go to YouTube and watch like videos, 3D videos, pretty much any site with like video support. And since the face tracking is better, it uses like infrared, so I guess the internal camera is better too. You can actually like take pictures like completely in the dark and it'll see you. There's internal Amiibo support and also I guess internal NFC support. There's also the C-Stick, which sort of brings dual analog support to the handheld, sort of. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but for some games it gets the job done, especially for Smash. And I believe the new 3DS also bought like wireless like file management. Like you can actually like link your 3DS up to your PC like through a Wi-Fi network and transfer files. It's not as fast as taking out like your SD card, but it works. So we're back to the what do I think this new handheld will be like. So far looking at these patents, we see a single screen and it's also a cartridge, letting you know that it's basically going to be a handheld. And then you see like another screen like sitting like along the side of it, and basically you move your finger from one screen to another and you see like a few items on the screen letting you know that they can like transfer from one screen to another like seamlessly, and the image will always be like continued, like it won't like corrupt or anything. And then you'll see like some pictures with like 3 screens or more, like a guy walking from one screen to another. Okay, so what do I think about this? I think that this will most definitely be a new handheld. So what do I think the tech of this new handheld will be like? So we're gonna call this new Nintendo handheld the successor to the new 2DS and new 3DS. We're gonna call it the mDS, the modular 3DS. So you know, like the Switch, basically a home console with a handheld and tablet modes. You can like detach the Joy-Cons, use them any way you want. That would be Nintendo's hybrid home console. But then it will have this mDS, that's basically Nintendo's modular handheld. What do I mean by modular? So we have this patent now that shows like more than one screen. Like you can use it on one screen, 2 screens, 3 screens, however many you have. I actually have them like pulled up right now. I will possibly post like screenshots too during the video, so don't worry. I won't like leave you hanging. But there was also a patent they did a while ago, like back in I believe 2012, 2013, somewhere around there, where they showed off a handheld with detachable D-pads, C-pads, analog sticks, and buttons. It was basically a DS with detachable buttons. It looks actually like the original 3DS, but with detachable buttons. So far, we're just gonna go over what I think the console will have. Obviously, the graphics are gonna be better. Probably somewhere between the Wii, Wii U, or it could be somewhere between the Wii U and handheld mode for the Switch. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a handheld that can play both Switch games, but in handheld mode, but also 3DS games. But that's where I think the graphics is gonna hit. Obviously, they're gonna find a better way for 3D. 3D was okay for the start on the original 3DS, but new 3DS brought face tracking, which worked at the start, but there were a lot of times where I had to send my new 3DS in to get repaired, and it would come back and the face tracking would be kind of off. I don't know if anyone else experienced that problem, but it was something that I experienced a few times. So better 3D. Also, as I talked about before, it'll be a modular design, so you can detach the screens. Say for instance, you buy it, it looks basically like a new 3DS XL or a new 2DS XL. You can detach the top screen, give it to a friend, detach a few of the slide off like the button configuration and the D-pad and slide onto their screen, and like they start playing in a local multiplayer game. So detachable screens, detachable buttons, C-pads, cameras, detachable batteries, and speakers. Support for the new Switch Nintendo account is also going to be something that it has, since the Nintendo Paid Online is coming. That's only for the Switch. The 3DS, new 3DS, and Wii U currently only support the old Nintendo Network ID system. Then, of course, I talked about before with the screen communicating with another screen situation. I can also see this one bringing multi-touch support, and also the first handheld to have like touchscreens on like the both the top and bottom. But yeah, imagine this though. You have your mDS, which is basically a next-gen version of the new 3DS. And say for instance, you have a friend who wants to join you in a local multiplayer game, but he doesn't have his own like mDS. Maybe the game is Shovel Knight. So instead of you two standing there like holding the same like mDS console trying to like play it on like the two screens, you can detach the top screen, give it to your friend, and then since this console will have like the option to also like slide the C-pad, D-pad. I'm assuming it's gonna have a second C-pad too, since the C-stick wasn't that greatly accepted, and also it's gonna have like an ABXY. I kind of assumed that since the Switch didn't have a D-pad, that this mDS also won't. It'll be like the four buttons, kind of how like the Joy-Con has. But yeah, you give your friend the top screen that you slid off, and then this they can slide off like one of the speakers and give it to you. You slide onto the bottom side of the bottom screen, and then they slide off like these compartments that are pretty much like just housing parts, and then they can slide in their D-pad and face buttons, and then you two just play a local game of Shovel Knight using two separate screens. Or it could be like a Pong game where you set the screens down on a table and the ball like slides between the two screens, and you use like the touch controls, so like as the Pong rackets or whatever it's called. But yeah, so basically that's pretty much my thoughts on the patents that Nintendo released, and what I think Nintendo, like if Nintendo were to make a 3DS successor, what it would be like. So basically, we'd have the Switch as the home console with handheld and tablet features, with hybrid Joy-Cons, so you could become one or two controllers. Then it's a Pro Controller. Then it will have the mDS, which is the dedicated handheld, which is modular and which could be a dual screen handheld, or it could take a screen off and make it a single screen handheld, or maybe you bought an extra screen and you can make it a 3-screen handheld. I'm not saying you can like attach all three to like it, but if you have like 3 screens, then you can communicate with them wirelessly with like your friends whenever they come over and they don't have their own like mDS with them, but it'd be like a single screen experience for them. But yeah, that's pretty much my thought on that. This video is getting kind of long. It's like 15 minutes. There was something else I was going to talk about, but it might end up just being another video. But basically, it was about the Pokemon rumors. But yeah, let me know what you guys think below. Comment, subscribe, and do stuff.